Christians worldwide are statistically the most persecuted religious group today, facing violence, church burnings, public ridicule, and systemic exclusion. Canada has not been immune to this pattern. In fact, since the public accusations against the Catholic Church regarding Indigenous residential schools, there has been a documented surge in church burnings, vandalism, and attacks on Christian symbols and spaces. Many of these acts were not isolated but sustained, and often publicly ignored or even quietly encouraged in political and media circles. Let's build this into a strong fact-based argument that connects. 1. The biblical command. 2. The current persecution climate. 3. The unequal application of religious exemptions. 4. The call for either equal rights or no rights. Thought, Christian right to self-defense, scriptural and legal petition framework. Part 1. Biblical command for practical protection. Luke 22:36. But now, he said, if you have a purse, take it, and also a bag. And if you don't have a sword, sell your cloak and buy one. Jesus gave this command to all his followers, men and women. It was a practical response to dangerous times, not a metaphor. Christians were to protect themselves on the dangerous roads and in a violent society. Pair 2. The parallels to today's danger. Christians are currently the most persecuted religious group worldwide. Thousands of churches have been burned, attacked, or desecrated. In Canada, since Prime Minister Trudeau's statements about the Catholic Church, over 100 churches have been vandalized or burned, with many acts receiving little media or governmental condemnation. Christians are often left undefended, while other groups receive active protection and legal exemptions. Unequal application of religious rights. Sikhs in Canada are allowed to carry kirpans, bladed weapons, in schools, airports, and parliament buildings as religious exemptions. Muslim groups in Canada have been documented carrying blades and swords at religious events and protests without restriction. Christians, however, are denied similar exemptions, despite the biblical command by their Savior to bear arms for personal protection. 4. The issue of fairness and safety. Either, no religious group should be permitted to carry weapons publicly, or all religious groups should have equal right to do so. Granting weapon-carrying rights to some religious groups while denying them to Christians creates a dangerous imbalance and systemic religious discrimination. The real threat, a defensive stance. The historical and current evidence shows that Christians are largely the targets, not the aggressors. The right to self-defense is a biblical, legal, and natural right. Christians are not asking to become aggressors, but to defend their churches, their gatherings, and their lives. Draft petition to Parliament. To the Parliament of Canada, subject, religious accommodation for Christians' right to carry symbolic or defensive weapons. We, the undersigned, respectfully request that Christians in Canada be granted equal religious accommodations under the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms to carry symbolic or ceremonial weapons in accordance with the direct command of Jesus Christ as found in Luke 22:36. Historically, Christians have been commanded by their Savior to carry a sword for their protection in dangerous times. This command applied equally to men and women among his followers. Today, Christians worldwide, including in Canada, face unprecedented levels of persecution, church burnings, and violent attacks. Currently, other religious groups in Canada are lawfully permitted to carry bladed weapons, such as the Sikh kirpan, under religious exemptions. Muslims in Canada are also documented as carrying swords and knives at religious celebrations and in schools under protected status. Christians, however, are systematically denied similar religious rights and are instead expected to remain defenseless, even in the face of proven, sustained attacks on their places of worship and gatherings. We submit that this constitutes a discriminatory application of religious freedoms and creates a dangerous precedent where some religious groups may exercise self-defense rights while others, particularly Christians, may not. We respectfully request that Christians be granted the same religious exemptions to carry symbolic or defensive weapons, or that no religious exemptions be granted to any group for the public carrying of weapons, ensuring equal application of the law. This petition seeks to uphold the principle of religious equality, the biblical right of Christians to self-defense, and the constitutional protections guaranteed to all Canadian citizens. Signed,